Blaze going to actually do it and go all the way around on the boats?
Why not?
That'd be impressive. It's another entry point, right?
It's the safest one because the others are going to have to get through everyone else. Welcome South George, going to take the Northern Bridge. TSM, I'm hoping they all head up towards Vex. And they do what we saw before, that to hold that area, you have to kind of be able to hold it, you know, 1, 1, 1, 1. You can't really stack on either side. You have to have vision of everything. First bit of contact is made. SWS-15 getting a couple of shots from Adepts. Now, Phantom, they're going to back away. They can't continue this fight particularly. They've been beaten to the punch.
The problem is for WS-15, cracking off shots like this just rings the dinner bell.
Yeah.
Everyone begins to focus and encroach on your position. I'm surprised no one's taken the bridge side, because you should have 1 or 2 teams that may rotate that way, or at least give yourself an option, a viable option to get the hell off of this island.
Yeah.
Exalt, Blaze, they're actually boating it. We said we might be able to see it, and it's a thing. I'm going to copy exactly what you said. It is the safest route. You're not going to go on the bridges. And I completely stand corrected then on the camping side, because even look at WTSG, you might not be able to see it on the map, but they've not opted to stay there. They've opted to go deeper inside the circle, and essentially, they're right behind YMCA's territory.
I mean, it's just the safest plan at the moment. IG going to be punished. That's over by the northeast. That's a northern bridge. That's the approach. I think Pixel was slightly further ahead than the others, and Tornado Energy have capitalized on that comfortably. Free Kill and Co are on the way. TSM have set up shop. I don't think we'll see much from TSM until late game, if I'm honest. They are going to come into it late. That's about as much as you can do. You've got to look at Unity, Welcome South George, and basically every other team, because they're going to be scuffing, just kind of like messing around for so little space. So Liquid are folding. They crossed over by boot camp. They took the very shallow ground. They crossed over, but they're sweeping towards the west. They've worked their way through. So WS-15 might have Liquid very close by to them, and I don't know how much they know about it. And WS-15 were popping off shots. High ground here is king as well. You get so much better vision, and they've definitely made contact on one. The call's been made, and there comes the shots. K-Mine readies the gun. You can see Jeems delivering bullet after bullet. Azrin is still alive, and he does have a rock to work with. This Nate could do well. There's no big replies yet from WS-15. Oh, wait. Wait. Is there a 4th player? Where? Ah, there we go. So now look up the hill. That could be massive. We need to see that final player for WS-15 who's about to get contact with K-Mine. I'm pretty sure that's behind them. They might get the nade to work. And there's Azrin finding Jeems. Overextension from Jeems is punished. Now, DP from the back. This could be the downfall of Liquid. They did not expect the individual man. That's the knife in the back from the shallows.
No.
Oh, he's got it. He's done him. He's got down heavy as well.
This is the same scenario before, Lauren. There has to be something said about this team's communication. Previously, it was Maxi who was put on the off angle to watch in the first game of Miramar we saw today. This time it becomes DP. He splits off from the rest of the pack. And it has just been catastrophic for Team Liquid. Maxi, the last man standing. A wing and a prayer, really. What can you do in this scenario? Asvery may just be able to get dragged up onto his feet. Unless Maxi comes back with a vengeance.
I'd put Mexi winning it. It's still Mexi. I can't get past that. This guy's still peaking like an absolute champ. In a 1v1, it's hard to not pick him, and you can see why. He turns it around, but by this point, Liquid's chances of being ferocious have been cut to almost nothing. And you're going to see another team coming over, and there it is, flushed out. And I almost don't blame them for not expecting DP, but you almost have to keep one player on a swivel. You have to have that. And I just don't think they have that synergy yet in this roster. And I hope to be proven wrong, but I don't see that coordination, that kind of easy chemistry yet to form. And maybe it was just an unlucky scenario. And I think that could be very much argued.
On a map like this, it's always the uphill battles, right? You're always playing on the foot side of a hill where you're looking up, and then a player will just wrap themselves through the trees. There's rocks, there's all sorts of cover which just hide your footsteps, and under the cover, more importantly, of the crossfire, no one knows where you're going to be coming from. You can strike at any time. They do it proficiently, they do it perfectly. And the Adepts that just come in, the mop up what's left, and I mean, we expect to see a lot of teams this early going out on Sanhok because it is a small map, and it's an awful circle. It's a good circle for us to watch, but from a player's perspective, it's absolutely cruel.
Now, speaking of cruel, is down in the ruins. There's about to be 3 teams there. Once 7 gets into this, they're going to be the third party. They're not actually that close yet. They're just behind ruins. It's going to be very close by. And it's going to be getting some shots down. That's a banger. That's I don't know if you'd be banking on that every day of the week, but he hits a cracking shot towards Ival. Trade comes back in, and actually for Omicron Esports, a bit of a shame. You'd argue this is their kind of, I guess, crowning piece in their puzzle normally, but we don't get to see it. This is not the circle that they play for, but Vasco with an angle, going to deliver some bullets. Does connect, but it looks like they're down to such an awkward predicament, and this hasn't even played in the fact that 7 are now coming just behind them too.
Yeah, they'll get involved in the fray, which will be devastating. They might not even waste any time, to be honest. They've all got vehicles, so they could just cross this bridge. The problem is, as soon as you go across that bridge, you have 2 teams just looking and staring. The sound of the vehicle, they're on the move. Edelweiss stands tall at the edge of the bridge just to kind of gatekeep the rest of the people that are holding back Omicron. I think they get the players back on the feet. I'm not sure if they lost one in that entire scuffle. I did see someone overstep the boundaries and go for one of the flushes. Krabic, the first one to go across the bridge. They're sending out the sniffer dog, but unfortunately on the opposing side, it could be the dog pound. Krabic's only at half health, instantly just gets 2-tapped. Bites the bullet, job done. They know this is treacherous, but they're still committing to the cause, Lauren.
Yeah, and the shots are still looking pretty crisp. Nail Up, I thought was going to land those, but they've just about made it into the trees. I've lied to you. Edelweiss is gone, and Phantom there to mop up a couple more. I don't know if they're going to get the flush on Sadovnik. It's Sunzy to get that one, so it's a bit of a free-for-all. That south side, just as you cross over, even on the other side, has maybe 3-4 teams if you want to look at maybe the Finns slightly further up the road to lock down anyone. The hillside is about to be pressured by 2 teams here. Tornado Energy. I don't know if the Diamond Dogs are going to go for it, but they might do. We are seeing Welcome South George losing out on Miracle here. Bit of a shame to see that happening.
Tizrin just waiting for someone to overstep the boundaries and go for an insta-flush. You might as well scrape back a point. He needs to be careful that he's not seen. He can't move now. He can't even look left or right because something like that, unless you tap it, you will be heard. Your body will make a noise, you spin around, and that's where he's been ever so cautious. Catches one in the back, that should be an insta-flush. So at least pulls a point back for now. You're not going to stop on that one. You will trade off instantly. Yes. Fights down low, inside. Currently not inside the buildings. The opposing team will start the bombardment. Nade comes in, player comes out. Who gets this one?
Dizrin's making him work for it. Gotta work for your dinner. Makes a run for it. He's still making noise, just hoping, why is no one third-partying these guys? Someone, please!
Dead. And
he actually gets picked up by Nail-Up in the end. Circle moving towards the hillside, not too surprising. It still has a great deal of Camp Alpha towards it, though. Tornado Energy are at the foot of the hill. They could be a threat here. I think Michael might be kind of feeling that one right now. They've got a bit of a mini 2-2 between Fex and Michael up north, and Brexco and Gemty down south. Diamond Dogs are just towards the southeast. They've got a lot of room to work with for themselves. That's quite pleasant for them, actually. Again, they could be just as much in a very strong position as the others on that hillside. 2-1-2 if you land that. Give you $5. They're just trying to get the fight completed in the southern side. Unable to make it clean. I think they might have just spotted Eiffel there through the grass. As indeed, can't get the spray connected. As Vasco might try and bail him out. Good old spray coming in, but again, this is just messy fights. No one wins in this scenario.
It's still impressive to see the 4 times spray at that range. The one on the top of the perimeter earlier on was beautiful.
Ridiculous.
It was a great one. You can see him dragging the mouse down because of the kick. Just seems to stay in one position. Nice little swivel. Leans left and right. Evil, maybe you want to call him. He's dead for now. Vasco, 2 different angles. Has to be careful that he doesn't focus too much. Opts to try and just... Well, there's not really you can do. He's dead regardless.
Right.
T-Bone says, well, I'm sorry, mate, but it's time to get myself onto the island and try and hide away because Exalt will be his next punishing team directly in front of him as he crosses that river. The problem is, for him, T-Bone specifically, Exalt are looking at the team behind him. And by doing this, have put him in a spot where he's just dead. There's no other way of saying it. He's just dead. There's nothing he can do. Dies in the water, job done. Because of all the fight that's going down, Exalt will still know there's a team on the opposing island. They need to be careful here. If they want to camp them and get the points, fair play, but there's only 3 points. It's how far do you go up the rankings. Remember, this is a late team's game. The points will come further as you go further in the game, picking up kills and getting towards the top end of that table. By doing this and waiting on the team now on the bridge, they're sacrificing placement time. They're sacrificing a good foothold on the map. Once they go back into it, the blue will be on the back. There's nowhere to go. They could be weakened if they're tapped up. And this potentially could be YMCA maybe capitalising on the situation. If YMCA move towards them, in my opinion, they've dug their own grave.
Yeah, I think we just need to see how this plays out in the south. Maybe Exalt getting a little too comfortable here, seeing if they do get in these kills. None have actually come through yet. You still have the 2 in the blue, which I don't know if they're going to make it out. And again, so do you really want to sit there? Like, how long are you going to sit in the blue for this? I think that they might have got the timing a little mismatched here. They are split into a 2-2 now. You have Shiv and off slightly further east, and Monkey and Nelip have to catch him now, and this is visible to some of YMCA if they do, if they are at least looking for it. It's certainly visible. Same can be said for Phantom. They could definitely see this if they're looking down that way. It's still quite lush in foliage, but it's definitely able to be seen. Up towards the hill we go. It is slightly further north than before, so it's not all into play. This now means that TSM needs to set up the wall. They need to try and work out how they want to hold this, because it's very hard to maintain vision and control on all of it if they want to. They may opt to just, you know, let's bolster one side of it. Let's bolster something together. It looks like Michael might be moving towards that, because all the teams now have to run up a hill, which is incredibly difficult. You almost want to be the last team up there so you can shoot everyone in the back, but then also you're probably going to die to the blue. So finding the timing and the balance on this, very tricky.
Speaks a bigger volume for how TSM have been playing this one. 2-1-1 split. It's dangerous. Ooh. Ubika at the back of the vehicle. Phantom continue, and the bullets keep on flying. Switching seats, trying to stay alive. You've got to pull up and get out of here. And Blaze, well, that's exactly what the vehicle's doing. They're dead. That's 3 points in the, 4 points in the bag. 3 in there, 1 on the floor. Jempty now onto Sunzi. So TSM finally, first contact will be found.
Oh, lovely Jempty. That's a second.
Is he going to go in?
Look at the crawl from Noki, trying to get there without being, I guess, without being seen, trying to occlude the vision, but I think he's got to just accept that's done. There's no recovery now, and it's just play the mountain goat game. Just sit there as best you can and hope no one spots you. The southern side has not resolved, and actually Exalt might be in danger. ETG, yes, they're in the blue, but somehow they found a deer, and Shiv could be the next to fall if he's not careful. They are now feeling the weight of what the blue can do damage-wise, but Exalt, this was the issue. This was the thing we were worried about, that by the time they made the move, they'd kind of lost the advantage they once had. And Eddie somehow have turned around a very dire scenario into maybe getting them a little further ahead of the guys in front of them.
That's only a 2 versus 4 there, so Lauren sees this. That's Exalt being punished hard. Slow play, we said, outside of the blue, walking out. This is what's going to happen. This is the knock-on effect of overstaying your welcome and trying to play for late game points. This has cost them dearly in this one. We'll make it into the top 10, but not too many frags as well to boot. Lauren and 2-1-2 at least kind of make it up towards the hillside, if you will. Brexco and Michael, by the way, still in a very wide 1-1. If either of them go down, none of them are going to be saved. And as we see in the kill feed, this is what you need to be able to do. You need to be able to hold your own. By doing this, they lock TSM's position down. They give them plenty of room to work with when this circle updates. This is fantastic. It could be costly, and it's dangerous. Michael or Brexaco go down, they're dead. TSM loses it. Now this circle's hit. Now they've took control of the central. You'd probably expect them to meet up. Playing this much longer with this many teams still standing starts to become even more dangerous and even more treacherous.
But you can't stop doing it. That's the thing. If you stop holding it, you lose all information, and suddenly it's as weak as any other position. You give up that advantage. I'm really glad we're seeing it now. We are seeing Unity suffering and falling by the wayside out in the west. Now, let's see what Fex and Jempty do. It's a balancing act, this, on that hillside. It's like a set of scales. You're trying to put it in the right place. Now, the south side, you're not going to expect too many people coming up there anymore. Yes, you have 2-1-2 there. Yes, the dogs could maybe work their way around. The Diamond Gods could swing south. But the most likely avenue of approach would be the north here. And it's the one that's still available. So it's a good read. It may not pay off perfectly, but they've shifted the weight north. 3 of the TSM players sit up there, and Michael now looks towards the south. They need to keep working on that, and it looks like they're going to get vision down the hill towards YMCA. They're going to catch them trying to fold in towards Unity to continue those flushes. As Unity is eliminated, now the next threat becomes TSM. Can anyone make it up this hill? Blaze stepping past Tornado Energy. They are right next to each other in these rocks. Compot's there, but now because Blaze was in the open, they're the ones getting spread out by TSM.
The reason they've moved to this position is because the Blues bottlenecking these teams' approach. There's only really one way you can go. You have all these wide, huge, wide open areas. Compot, sit down, takes a bullet from Fex. Always nice to see a sniper rifle in play. On such a small map, generally speaking, we don't see it at least tend to, because the DMRs are so strong. Brexco gets a few bullets, but at least survives. However, this is dangerous. He's drove into 3 players. Brexco needs to hold his nerves here.
Yeah, but Fex and Jemty might be able to support him as well. They're about to be coming over and getting a supporting angle.
He's so aggressive.
He's pulling the attention their way. He can stop this, and he needs to do this. He may die for it, but it's going to at least give TSM a shot towards keeping Blaze back, keeping Tornado Energy back. Brexco is now the disposable man. If he takes it on with him, huge, and it looks like he might do. Laz is in danger. That's a nade waiting to happen. Lipson's down the hill, though. The nade comes back in, trying to temper the situation, and the nade does get it done. Jemty's support comes through the perfect timing, and Blaze are being... Now, if you're another team, you should be working up. The dogs are late to this. This gives more time for TSM to extend their lead. This is the balancing act we were talking about. This is them weighing the scales perfectly. There's still danger, though. They shifted 4 of their players north now, so they have 0 information on the south.
But look at how much of the map they're controlling. Fex finally found. Sakura sits him down. That's problematic because now there's a big avenue. Now there's a kink in the armor. They've been controlling this circle with perfection. Now they have to make it work, though. You have all the stragglers that are left over from the early game all the way down to the south. They at least have what is a little bit of cover from this tiny compound in the middle, so they can take control of it.
Oh. Ooh, 2-1-2.
I still could get over it. Like, Brexco and Jemty's, to be able to bottleneck teams like that is so... It's aggressive, but you have to have faith in your own ability. And more importantly, your teammate to back you up.
Dun, dun. Dun, dun. He can't do anything. It's like...
Go on, just for skill points.
Oh, wait.
Snipe him.
Did Tom see him?
Snipe him.
No, he recorded it as Simsy. No, he's seen him. Oh, no. Oh, no. It's... You've been discovered. Tom Hill's going to put him down. And now let's look at what's remaining. We have 6 teams, 15 players. So a lot of players still here. The south side is now going to get deadly. We have the Diamond Dogs up against Tornado Energy. Tornado Energy swept kind of north to southeast sort of situation. TSM still up above. They've only got red dots because they had to loot quickly because they wanted the positioning over the loot. Remember that. Melman goes down. That's from above. That's Jemty. But now the return fire comes in from Simsy. The hip fire. He's just laying it down with the AK.
Spin! Oh, he wanted it. He just saw him at the last minute, but all of a sudden he comes around the corner, hits the deck 4 times on the back of the SKS. It was close. It was so close, and you love to see it when players just turn on a dime like that.
Michael's pushing this as well. This is nice work. So here we go. Cleaned up, we're down to 4. Up in the north, it's still pretty messy, but TSM are trying to recover quickly to deal with the Finns moving their way. Tornado Energy have maintained their players in the south, trying to regather some loot, get themselves back in. Michael's found 1, and this now looks good for them. Did they get the spot? He did get the spot, but the flush comes right back against him. So now TSM are losing out numbers. Shiv's creeping his way in. He's still alive here. He's way off in the west on his own. Sakura now spotted by Mike. Dancing around trying to buy time, allowing more and more seconds to build for Tornado Energy to get closer and closer towards center position. Sakura might have just opened this up for anyone. TSM are not dealing with this quick enough.
Gets a tiny tag on him. At least holds him back, but they are split. Michael and Jemty get the circle, but Tornado Energy, you touched on it perfectly. They have arrived. And more importantly, they can take control. Depending on what Jemty actually sees from his angle, because he is elevated, will kind of dictate the game. He's actually completely evacuated that scenario, so that suggests to me that he's A, taking cover within the rock side, but B, getting leverage above the teams that are going to be coming from below.
Look at this south picture being painted. Shiv's about to stumble across one of them, whether he sees him first or not.
He has to have seen him, surely.
He's seen one. Okay, danger time. Jemty and Michael have to know this is happening. So now they've got a bit of an understanding of where the rest of the players are. Sakura's still a danger, but he's been swept aside. Now it's getting back on. Shiv is going to be the biggest threat to Tornado Energy right now, but look who's above. Jemty about to Batman into this one if he gets any closer. Nade comes in, 3'd up is Shiv, but the blue's on his back and he's got to work forward. The nades are good, but they're bouncing. Compot. They're not dealing with him. Shiv's still creeping forward. Who's going to see who first? You have Michael holding center, making sure there's no threats elsewhere. Jemty above. Compot. Tornado Energy still with 2 standing just below, and Shiv could be their downfall.
Vert nades are coming through. They've already done some damage. Slow one goes in, but it's hitting the wall. The wall is giving them the defense. Michael and Jemty evacuated the situation. They knew what was going to happen next.
Shiv blue.
I love the fact that they actually got above them. It's a great play. It's a really good read. All the players now have to come to their angle. The response from Compot, though, Shiv dead, 2-on-2 scenario. Tornado Energy, they are so bottlenecked. They might even give this one up.
They can fight it out. Surely you see, you've got the feeling you know who's alive here, but Michael holds the angle. 6-shot from Compot. It's now game back on, but do they know about Gemty? Did they hear the steps? Did he show everything? He's holding the angle. They've got the center point. Tornado Energy have to run against the odds, but they got the smoke down. And now there goes Michael. It's all on Gemty. Oh, and Gemty does it. Cometh the hour, cometh the man. That's what you want to be seeing.
2 versus 1 clutch. One goes to the right, one comes to the left, sprays up, hits him in the face, and it's GG. It was a good job from Tornado to make it to that level when all odds were against them. The snake in the grass from Shiv could have been so problematic. If it hadn't have been for the wall bouncing and just flicking those grenades away from them, they would not have even got to that second place. Shiv would have been the man of the hour. But it's Gemty to put the nail in the coffin. TSM from the very start, I loved how you touched on it, Lauren. You spoke about the leverage that they could get from getting a good foothold on that the island itself. By playing aggressive, they were allowed to control that area. I mean, it wasn't without its kind of, I mean, it's given its rewards, but without its weaknesses. Playing the 2-1-1, you lose a player, you lose a player. There's no way to save them whatsoever, because then a team comes in and collects that. But playing aggressive has basically won them that game.
Yeah, that was just beautiful. I loved how they balanced it out. That's how you get communication on point. That is what that showed to me, and obviously they had the firepower to back it up in the end. That's enough from us. Let's head down to the interview, because I want to hear that one as well.
Thank you, guys. What an ending we had there for our opening game of Sanhok. And straight away, I'm going to ask you, when you guys saw that opening circle, what did you guys make of it?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of practice and scrims on them circles. I don't know, we know our setup. In scrims, teams like to try and take their chances and fight us up there. In the real games, they don't have the balls to do it. They just kind of, we get it for free. I mean, we're still ready for it. Yeah, we just knew how to play it, and we held out our edge really well, I think.
And you had the high ground towards the end there, right? You could hear what was going on beneath you. Was there ever a moment where you're thinking, okay, maybe we might try and poke this, or were you just going to play out the waiting game?
Yeah, I mean, there was lots of times where each of us were like getting a bit bored in the early game. We were always like, oh, but we can get a free kill. And I think we had like 3 or 4 reminders from each other, like, don't throw this game. We need to play for the late game. Just like, only play for the late game here. Don't get greedy. And yeah, I think we kept each other in line right there.
You certainly did. Now, Gemty, I've got to ask you, on that last one, 1v2, you had a perfect read on the situation, but you must be feeling the pressure a little bit there.
No, I knew that I can 1v2 them. They had to run to me, so I can just hold.
Easy stuff then, right? No problem at all. So we'll see that in the next game, you're just going to go all crazy again?
I don't know. It depends from the situation. If we get circles, we can go crazy.
If they get circles, they can go crazy. That's what we want to see. TSM take another game here. James, what do you got to say about that?
I just don't know, to be honest. Are you going to go left or are you going to go right? That's what I want to know here, with Michael actually being able to get himself the interview there. Who was the big winner, though? Was it TSM or was it Hoverboard Guy on the camera at the back? I'm not sure. I think Hoverboard Guy did pretty well for himself. Regardless, 14 kills coming in for TSM, boys. Froz Avenger joining me here. That was a huge game, and it really did feel like TSM had mass control in that game for a long time.
I'll tell you this, it started from the start of the game when TSM actually dropped down. They didn't loot for long before they started rotating, because they knew on this circle, we need to have a positioning in the circle, or it's like, we're done. So they sacrificed a lot of loot. We saw both Gemty and we saw Brexco both running red dot SKSs.
Yeah.
Not their choice of weapon and scope for that matter, but they still managed to do a lot of work, and as they said in the interview there, it all came down to how aggressive, how they were holding that down. We saw them doing 2-1-1 to 3-1 and just changing back and forth all the time, making sure we're controlling the whole area.
And as I said, they had a lot of practice in the scrims. They had a decent amount of games. Also, some of these circles that are these kind of special Northwestern circles, and they know exactly how to execute that. So it's nice to see they're able to. Also, they landed Fex on the top. They were already super fast all the way to the top, all of them, and managed to get a good position. Unfortunately, for Team Liquid, that didn't go kind of a good start for them. They went out somewhat early, but got some kills, but unfortunately for them, no placement points.
Yeah, very unfortunate for those teams, I suppose, there in that fight. Guys, the circle was severe. How on earth do you try and get on this island with this circle? It was brutal.
I mean, if you can't get on the island, it's only one thing to do. How many kills, how many points can we get?
On the edge?
Yeah, because you know that, all right, we're not going to get inside. All we got to do is fight and get as many points as possible and move on to the next game.
Avenger, any thoughts regarding the circles?
I mean, obviously, how the circle is and how there's so many ways to play around it, but landing in the area that the starts gives you a huge advantage. That's also why the split that TSM have with being close to all three islands is obviously super strong. They executed this very well. I like to see some of the... We give the credit to TSM here, yes, it's credit due, but there are some of the teams that managed to get onto this island from a somewhat hard position, got a decent amount of kills as well. Exalt, one of them, Tornado Energy did also very well off the start, and they did kind of this aggressive style and got them a really good placement as well. So I'm happy to see them be able to get that many kills and points from this game.
Let's take a look at the points coming in here as our bottom 8 teams. Not too many points distributed amongst them. A lot of these teams were the kind of teams that were, again, going out on the edge, not being able to get onto the island, having a very rough time of that. 24 points as TSM ties the points distribution that came in from Inside Games in our previous game with the 14 kills and first place. Tornado Energy, 12 kills. So very, aside from TSM, very, very spread amongst the second down towards our 6th place teams.
Yeah, but it was a very rough circle for a lot of the teams.
Yeah.
Exalt was actually one of the teams that was playing on the southwest side of the island there. And we saw them gatekeeping Etiquette, actually. But that got and turned around afterwards.
Yeah.
Etiquette got around them and actually killed 3 guys from Exalt and kind of gate kept them instead.
If Exalt had been faster, first of all, prioritize getting into the circle, they could have been 3, maybe 4 guys alive on that southwestern side. They could have swept that whole area and potentially even taken the win because TSM was fighting, so the Energy was fighting, and they ended up losing a few guys through that. But damage leader is 920, not 1,000 yet. We actually had a 1,000 damage dealer in the first game from Fex. He got more than 1,100 damage, so it's nice to see as well.
We see Shiv here on 5th place. The thing is, why I'm mentioning Shiv is because he was the last man up for Exalt. He was the last guy that was not gate kept by Etiquette. He got away from that and actually managed to clutch a 3rd place for Exalt. Big points, very good points for him. And I think he got 1 kill as well from that. And they could literally have gone out on like 10th, 11th
Yeah, it was
place.
a 6-point clutch or something like that.
So that's
nice
huge.
Quick question, slightly outside of this game in particular. Is Jempty one of the most sought-after names ever in PUBG? He went from FaZe Clan to Team Liquid to TSM, 3 of the biggest esports orgs on the planet across his PUBG career. That's pretty ridiculous.
I mean, not much to say other than the accolades being able to play for all these 3 orgs.
Yeah.
He's an insane player. I think he's gonna shine when it comes to being able to in-game lead, being able to call the most of the shot, but also he has kind of the same style and same kind of punch because he's also able to frag out, like we've seen from Gustav, being able to both in-game lead and frag out as well. So he's definitely one of the top names in the esport.
I don't know why this popped into my head. I just thought I'd ask it, you know. Anyway, gentlemen, we'll come back to you in a few moments. As for now, we are done. We're going to hear from Group A, though, as their path to PGS continues.
I mean, this is my first big LAN event, and so that's why it feels really great to be here. The chance to compete in the top tier in PUBG.
Ну, я уже здесь не первый раз. Некоторые мои тиммейты тоже здесь не первый раз. Кто-то играл здесь в фазах PL. Ощущения нормальные, стандартные, как бы уже привыкшие, волнения нет, все хорошо, все спокойно.
It's very great atmosphere. We like it, but we are exciting. We want to be here always. It's our purpose.
I mean, I'm super excited again because it's another tournament. It's for PGS. PGS is supposed to be big, so we got a direct invite here. And our previous event in Sweden went pretty well. So I'm super excited to show at this event what we're capable of as well.
It was tough, but we got invited to the closest qualifiers, and we managed to qualify from there to the finals. And first day of the finals was kind of rough. I think we placed it to the 9th, but the last day was really good, and we managed to be a second, like 1 point difference to the first one.
It was rough elimination for our region. We fought, we won. We had guaranteed to qualify after the first day. It was not so hard for us. It was nice elimination. We are here.
We don't feel any pressure because it was kind of a surprise we even came here, qualify here, because we kind of lack of practice as a team, but somehow we managed to qualify here. And personally, I want to be in top 6. That's the dream, but top 16 is fine for us. But of course, we're gonna do our best. I'm gonna do my best and crack some kills, and as IGL for our team, I'm gonna try to do good goals.
Естественно, попадание на глобала. Будем стараться это максимум выжить из этого, попасть туда. Это опыт, и надо стараться, чтобы попасть на глобальный чемпионат.
We have experience wall here. We are here to break it.
I mean everything, because PGS is the most important tournament of the year. So let's hope we qualify and get top 6. I expected we do good. We got first in the qualifiers for GOL. Then we did pretty good for our first LAN together. We got third, 1 point away from second, pretty close to first as well. I think we do good. I think we're gonna do good. If we're confident, if we play our game, things shouldn't go wrong.
Liquid, ВТСГ, Амакин, Эльгигантом и Нави. Мы тоже. Я бы не сказал, что заслуживаем, но мы будем прилагать все усилия, чтобы туда попасть, потому что это опыт и хочется быть на мировой сцене.
I believe with TSG will be in top 6. I respect their experience and play style. I think we should be in top 6 because we represent a big region and we are the champion of that region. We don't want to disappoint them.
Yeah, we deserve to be in the top 6 because our game plan, our teamwork, we win a lot of fights. I think overall our game plan is just the best. So definitely deserve to be in the top 6.
Great to hear the perspective of a lot of these teams coming into PGS, but now we are moving on, and it's time for the grassy pastures, as we're going to be going to Erangel for 3 games here to get things going. It's back home, boys. Not only are we back home in the studio, we're going back home to Erangel. I'm excited to see how all these teams are going to play things out. TSM is already blistering forwards.
TSM, sure. They got 40 points so far in 3 games. That's a 13-point average we're talking about, or like 13.3, right? Oh, here we actually go.
Ta-da! 40 points up towards the top. TSM. Tornado Energy, though, has whirlwinded into second place with 30 points. And Exalt has sprinkled a little bit up there towards the top 2 with 30 points for number 3. Omakin, 27 points. Only, 1 or 2 points from that last game?
Yeah,
unfortunate.
We saw them in PL as well. They played really well on Sanok, so it was kind of a surprise that they struck out, but it also comes down to the circle. They're dropping Quarry. It's one of the hardest circles for them.
Big numbers being put up by TSM, and we kind of came to expect it from the names that are on this roster. Avenger, what are your thoughts?
We've been talking so much to TSM. I want to say I'm happy to see Tornado Energy to be able to keep fragging out. They're putting the points on the board from the kills. They're not getting that many placement points. Yes, they did get a little 6 from this game, but besides that, 8 kills, 7 kills, 6 kills. If they continue this, they don't need to get in the placements. If they just manage to kill 7 on an average, they're literally going to be in the top 6.
It has felt like ever since Minsk, end of 2018, all the way through 2018, Tornado Energy kind of just needed that little extra spark to push up even further. And I feel like we've been expecting this from them for a long time, and they're showing up here today.
We always saw them in the top of contenders all the time. Phase 1, they were 4th place. Phase 2, they were 4th place. Phase 3, they were 5th place. And then in the promos, they got a 3rd place, and that's what got them here. Now, we saw them last weekend as well in GLL, where they got themselves a 5th place. Maybe a little bit underspoken about, because they kind of in the shadow of everybody else, but right now they're showing us why they shouldn't be in the shadow, but in the highlights instead.
5th place with the lineup that was at GLL is extremely respectable.
Well, you were questioning whether we were going to see a CAS super team. I think very much that Tornado is the team that we're going to have to look to when it comes to the highest performing teams in the CAS region, especially at this tournament, but also going forward. They are literally just grinding. We heard from Compot in some of the interviews and what they said. They are at boot camps. They're preparing. They're so well prepared coming into tournaments.
Definitely so. And we see Team Liquid here on screen at the moment. They got themselves not the best positions in the last game, but moving on.
No, we're going to Wrangle now.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're literally Homestead, Pochinki. They're going to have such a huge advantage coming out of this.
We also know they're never worried. They know that, hey, we can make it through no matter what. just one more game, one at a time. Next game, we'll just strike and just get that win, and that's what they need right now. They need that win to make sure that they boost up towards the top again.
You know, one thing with Liquid, one thing was just now that you had a thought before I had a thought. One thing that was very weird to me was to see Mexi in a Liquid jersey.
It is a little weird.
That was so weird because it's literally since IEM Oakland 2007, it's 2.5 years that he's been on FaZe and only FaZe. It was really weird to me to see Mexi. I'm gonna be honest though, I'm not unused to seeing a Finn in a Liquid shirt. So there was kind of like that one. I mean, like, oh yeah, okay, I'll take it.
Mexi used to play in Ataxia, which became Gorilla Core. Gorilla Core became FaZe Clan, and he's been on that team ever since, up until this point. That's why it's so weird to see that.
Yeah, it is a little weird. Thinking about moving forwards into Erangel, just a few moments here. Omkin. Obviously, not the best of performances for that Sandhawk game. Mr. Insider, Froz.
Yes. Before you start, though,
go on, Avenger, go on.
I know Western Circle for a Quarry team is literally one of the hardest. Like, it's super hard to get to. You're nearly by far the furthest away you can get from it. Yeah.
Mr.
Insider.
What was the question?
Omakin.
Yes.
Erangel. What are we saying?
What's the plan?
Yes, Naya drop. And hopefully they're going to have that for himself. They're going to make some quick rotations, make sure they get into a position where they can just frag out. They can just put Vasco here, Page there, and just...
I hear a little bias there.
Wow.
A little bit of bias.
I don't know.
I don't know. All right, the siren has sounded. Pyramid Head is closing in, and we are going over to Erangel. The grassy pastures will miss descent. Who knows? We're going. It's time for the commentators. It's Tamsi. It's Sims. Let's go.
Oh, thanks for that, James. It's not just me who hears Silent Hill when it happens. Very good. That freaked me out as a kid so much. So much. I was very scared of a lot of things, actually, as a child.
Now it just reminds me of Karakin. Whenever the small nuclear strike comes in and just destroys all the buildings. Bring Karakin to competitive.
Why do you want to just hurt the players more?
Bring new Vikendi. I want train damage.
Have you heard the Biggie Smalls remix to that? It's the best thing in the world. I cannot play it. I'd honestly just hold my phone up and like play it to you guys. It's brilliant. If you would like something to listen to while we
I've
talk
seen the
about
one with the Venga Boys remix.
Yes, it's solid.
Is that the one?
It's very similar to that. Just get Thomas the Tank Engine, Biggie Smalls remix. Like, look it up on YouTube right now, guys. While we look at this drop, and we'll just and it might sync up. We are though into the game. It is from southwest up to the northeast, so pretty much anyone can get what they fancy here. But we do need to see those drops. Oh, welcome South George, very close by to Liquid, but I don't think we're in too much of a threat here.
Oh, Seven's got people knocking at the door. Now remember, this is kind of usual Na'Vi territory, unless they've switched up from what we know and would call a normal home position. There's no one actually in Milta Power because FaZe isn't here. So I'm surprised no one's gone there. Well, you know what? You've had 3 games. We're moving into 3 games of Erangel. There's potentially a milli-circle for you. Now, I am now going to hold off from everything that I've ever watched in PUBG because that, you know what? I mentioned at the start of the show, that one where we looked towards the island and it actually went back, straight back over to the petrol station on the opposing side, was pure and utter insanity.
Oh, Erangel, you beautiful, beautiful map.
It's good fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really good fun.
Let's take a look at who's going to have a difficult time
TSM.
then.
They've finally found a way to nerf TSM, which is nice. Thank you, Brendan, for that one. Had to slow him down somehow.
You know, sounds different as well. It used to be Milton.
Milter?
Should have gone Milter this time. Would have worked perfectly.
Correct. Unity, northeast. Pretty far out from it. Honestly, the thing is, as much as we say this a lot, I swear very few people actually die on those rotations if they just, you know, do it early enough.
Which one, sorry? Straight down?
Just heading down,
generally?
Because we don't see that many bridge campers. Teams don't do it because if they're in the position to be able to get ahead, they're going to. You know what I mean? They don't sit there and go, let me just camp this out.
This is now where we have those weird teams involved in this. And by weird, I don't mean that offensively, but we have teams that don't necessarily play within these leagues and within these scrims day in, day out. Yeah. So you might get a team now that thinks, you know what? Let's have a little bit of fun.
I mean, it can work. We've seen teams set up west of Novo, and it's done really well for themselves. It's not like it's not been done, just kind of on the cross, you know, the little like village just at the end of it. It has been done, and it can be effective, but it feels like they're the exception, not the rule. So I like to put it that way.
Can I throw something out there?
No. Anyway.
Glider rotations now onto Millie Island. What do you think? Another avenue of approach, yes or no? Because they don't really, you know, they die almost instantly, so it's your risk, your reward, and you don't die when you hit the ground anyway. For a team that's stuck all the way up north, I think it'd be great to see someone just YOLOing across.
I don't even know anymore. Maybe.
You're talking to a heavy public player here.
Yeah, can you tell? Just get in the... You just go fly over it. That'll be fine. I've shot people out of those things. I've destroyed those things. Someone who can actually aim, much easier. Much easier.
You had to mention it.
What?
Just giving my aim grief all the time.
I didn't even mention you, you insecure small man.
I'm offended, Lauren. Yeah, okay, we'll get back to it. Seriously, though, we absolutely love Erangel, and that's probably why we're having a bit of a laugh about it. It's an enjoyable one to watch, and it's an enjoyable one to cast.
Ooh,
Problems
bridge.
fold. Unity TSM, and at the top we will see how many other teams are up there. I'm just kind of looking who might have a difficult one inside. Lipovka's not too bad because she'll have all the boats. Unity might go for the long swing as well. I like what Blaze has done, take the tower, but it is the unfortunate thing for that. It's a really good position, but it is on the edge of the circle, so if it does shift, likely going to shift away from them. Unless it comes to Sosnovka, in which case they're happy. They can take that.
Yeah,
it might go that way. ETG 212 is on rotation. Might just be able to get to this one. Unless one more bullet just dinks him in the back of the head. That'd be a banger of a shot if it did.
Oh, he's trying it. I think 2-2 might just make it away. This has been an awkward battle for some time. ETG have been in a bad position, you know, split between them and the opposing side. Now Team Liquid have rocked up, and they're being cautionary because they can be. The one benefit to this is the fact that there's still a great deal of the north in the circle. It is not necessarily 100% a melee circle here. So they don't harry it, they don't have to rush it. They can sit at this position and do well, or around this position. I don't know if I'd love them to stay here because there's still a billion teams up north.
Looking for the boats on the side of Milta. Again, no Face Clan being there. They should be able to get those vehicles and make it all the way across. Depends what Blaze wants to do if they want to try and lock down Novo. Not too many teams will go Novo these days unless it's kind of like a last-ditch effort just because of how hard it can be to find vehicles. Oh, my Lord, Blaze has just been given a double drop. You'll see it when the map's brought up, but they literally just had a double drop pop above their heads as they're driving.
Even close to them either. Do you know what scares me?
That's incredible.
Liquid getting pinched between Welcome to South George and someone like ETG. And ETG are one of those teams, it looks like, who are pretty scrappy. They will fight for it. So I worry the Liquid are here. I don't know. I don't know about this one, Rich.
This is different to what we would normally see, where they would just bomb it across the bridge.
Yeah.
It's a hard one, and you're hoping you've picked the right side here, and it does come towards the north. But it's extremely hard to call. If you're a betting man, you want to say Millie Island just because of how many we've seen, but percentage-wise, maybe there's more island up north.
I think for me, the reason I get skeptical about positions like Liquid are currently holding is because it is hard to hold early game.
Yes.
Like late game, it's great.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's a bit of a lost break. So he's gone down there. And that's pretty far out. That's up by, I guess, east of Rozhok. Is that kind of small individual town? That's mean.
That's
mean.
awful.
That's a little bit funny. Yeah, it's the early game issues because there's so many teams on rotation, so many teams that have the opportunity to pick you apart because there's so much room up in the north here. You know, you've got 360 access to Liquid in this. So I do get a little around it. Welcome South George could be one of those teams to maybe find a bit of pressure towards them. Late game, it's a very strong position. That's when it can come into its own, when you can start, you know, dividing the area around you. You become very, very potent there. But again, I just hope that this 2-2 split doesn't get overwhelmed. It does pay off for them.
Blaze didn't look above their heads. Both crates were landing on top of them. All four players were just below the drop, and they didn't look up once. So they were gifted a double, and they completely left it. Inside may potentially find those on rotation. They have landed Nova. I said sometimes that can be the danger drop or danger position to actually land within, but this time they've gone for it. They'll now work their way up the hills. The vehicles, if they're scarce, they'll be in a bit of a sticky predicament. Diamond Dog's coming across the bridge. What do you see?
North or south?
It's really hard. It puts me in an insecure position because of what we saw at PGC. Like, I thought I knew everything, and it's like, well, there you go.
Flip a coin, mate. That's all it is.
I'll go with my gut instinct and say Millie.
Okay.
And then I wonder if someone actually takes full advantage of the bridge position.
Yeah.
because all the boats now, unless someone's saving some boats, but the beachheads can become a bit of a really cruel open area if teams, especially on that hillside where Exalt will be, looking over from the cliff face. They'll have a good old viewership over so many people. If it does go north, hell, Liquid are absolutely laughing. Same goes for WTSG. You got Adepts up there. You know, these are some big names. Look at WTSG. They're actually spreading up in the Longwoods. You've got Miraku, you've got VAR. They've completely overextended from the rest of the roster. So maybe they know something we don't. Generally, for me, we are now seeing more teams on the opposing side than what we normally would. Everyone would bomb to this island.
I mean, look at the caliber of who's sitting north, who's sitting south, right?
Exactly.
But it's a coin flip.
They know it. This is why they're clearly doing it, because they have more insight than what we do. So they've predicted this, they've preempted it, and I love it. You touched on something I was exactly going to say. It's the teams, the big names, your Liquids, your WTSGs, your even, hell, Omega, they're all up there.
Now becomes the fun part. We have all the teams who were on the island heading back over, and the ones who maintain that northern position have to hold their ground here. Welcome South George are going to kind of bring themselves back together because they've seen the new scenario. A couple of other players now starting to shift around. We are seeing Salt sitting to the east in the yellows in the Na'Vi sort of area, I guess, if you want to look over there. Diamond Dogs do make it over across the eastern bridge. That's nice for them. WS15 will see that crash coming in. It's the first big port of contact, and it's on the cross itself. Nice little bit of movement here from one of the top fraggers. Beautifully done. Sadovnik gets on the receiving end, and that could be a follow-up. It is beautifully played from the man on your screen. He is going to be happy with that. If he just turned it, it would have been somewhat of a miracle, but he does go down eventually, but he's at least held off the wolves at the door.
Edelweiss doesn't know the position, but Ibiza does from distance. And more importantly, that allows Seven to get people up. The movement through the window was fabulous. That is just beautiful to watch. To jump on the ledge, the window doesn't smash unless you pressure through it. Doesn't give away his position, sneaks in, takes 2 scalps just like that. But it may have all been for naught. Players may be able to get back on the feet there. You've still got Phantoms on the bridge, and they've yet to show their hand, so be aware of them. Mexi and Ibi, they overextended from their compound. They'll take the long hill top. This gives them an elevated line of sight. They can look towards Exalt. They can look to all the teams coming off of the bridge. And that allows Jimbo and his teammate just to hunker down. Finally, Phantoms, well, they've jumped off the bridge. They've decided to go low, and I'm okay with this. Hit the water and go down. DBS, will it be in play? Probably not. Blaze did they find 2? Let me have a look. Yes, they found both of them. So their initial reward not taken. This time taken full advantage.
How confused they're going to be when Unity just rock up next to them from Novo. That's going to be a very, very interesting situation to unfold over there. Page's nade could be the one. Heading down there. Unity are the ones that actually spot out Blaze. So Unity going to set up the firing squad. That's in danger. One more bullet and he's done for. Going to try and swerve out the way. It looks like Tizarin's found one in the meantime on the other side of the bridge. But somehow, Blaze made it across. I don't know if Lazar can survive because he has to heal in the blue, even though it is still early on. He was very low.
Maxi forced to hit the deck. 7, Edelweiss down and dead. Remember, that's coming off the back towards the petrol station just off of the bridge. Ivor does go down. That's from a different angle. Off-string finds the target. He's only knocked for now. This allows Maxi to reposition himself. Vascu and Page, they're looking for these players, but they're going down low. They don't realize that Maxi's still going to come from this angle. You could see where he was aiming the grenade, which also suggests that he doesn't know they've rotated. Recurrent, Buster. Nades in hand, trying to get the job done. Up and over we will go. We'll see if they find the target. 2 for 1. Put one in each floor. You'd have to guess he's on the stairs, so if you can actually hit this through the window, it should land. It does. Job done. He's cleared. And now they can pick up the loot and move onwards. And they've actually got a fair amount of players off of that island as well, which is impressive.
Yeah, very surprising how well they've done this. That's a lot of water in there. Okay, well, this is going to get very, very close. The hills, not hills, the cliff face, kind of where Salt are. Exalt, they're still there now. Win streak. Oh, my word. Big spray. 3 kills for just 1 man.
All right. That's, damn, that's good. To hit him like that through the tiniest of gaps. 2 little wooden shacks. GG. 3 points on the board. It'll be 4 as well if they manage to pick up the 4th player. I didn't quite see that one. Sunzi out of the back of the vehicle. Azverin completely disconnected from the rest of the roster. What are you doing out here? Just mowing people down on rotation.
How many games do we see end in these damn shacks in the field, all right? Look, I've seen it too many times, Rich. I'll still stand by it until we see it move completely away from those fields. For now, Exalt definitely have everything going for them. Liquid's position becomes incredibly strong. That's what we were saying. If it does make it to late game, this is where they come into their own. You gotta look at the north, though. The Diamond Dogs have been rotating for a while at this point. It feels like they were on the eastern bridge. Now they're cutting back in underneath Pachinki and WS15. Well, DP.
Teammate over.
Yeah, that's not good. Not in this position especially. You just want to try and keep everything going for yourselves. Unity going for the swim. Blaze on the other side. Everyone's working away, and I want to see where TSM head towards. IG are trying to pull themselves across as well. So some of these teams yet to really find a footing here.
Oh, he wants it. Oh, this could be good. There's two vehicles there. If that hit nade hits one of them, has it fallen short? It just has. But it's taken away a bit more cover. That wooden shack is dispensable. You can just ram a vehicle through if you hit it at the right angle. There are some bricks and canisters which stop your advancement further, but still. Furax with a 24 might be able to just find his face with a little letterbox there should he come a bit too far. Is K-Mite holding that building down on his own? Yes, he is. Okay, that's a good restore point if Liquid need to fall back. Mexi onto Furax, so the player we were just speaking about on your screen a second ago. He's put down for now. And also allows the rest of Team Liquid maybe to regroup themselves and focus fire on the teams that are out in the fields. Pick up some scrappy and free points, more importantly. Exalt still holding the cliff face, and more importantly, it's basically central circle. Wherever this goes, they're going to be happy. It will come away from the water.
You just can't get away with anything in these caliber of games, can you? You gotta... I love it because, you know, some people, they watch, it's like, oh, you know, then people don't understand how good and how punishing these players are. I mean, one mistake and there's someone looking your way. I love to see that, and I think just about everyone, apart from IG, have just about made it in. I think TSM are just in the blue for now, but yeah, we're pretty much there now. I think we're going to see who's going to get done over here, shifting towards Liquid. The later this gets, the stronger they become. Exalt still have a good enough position. They're happy. That's good work from the Diamond Dogs. How on earth did they run that and no one put fire down towards them? I don't know, but it has paid off. I'm
going to be honest here. For me, that should have been Nailup's job. He should have been able to put some sort of suppressing fire from his position. Something. And this is now why Monkey is just scraping to get across the road to give some support and maybe do some damage.
Oh, no, that's not good. That's a bit of an accident there for Buster. He's going to pull his car up in the end. They're now going to make the move towards it, but that could have been a little bit cleaner, but they've done it. They've made it to where they need to be, so I guess by any means. But Etiquette have got a couple of kills to their name, 2 this time, at least in this map. So we'll see if they can hold back the flood. Here comes Phantom. Buster's already tagged up, hits the deck. Fire coming in from YMCA over on the hills that Liquid previously were holding, but now they've folded towards K-Mine's compound.
They have this as a safety backup to Liquid for now. It's fragile. We don't know where the circle will go. Kind of fall anywhere. WTSG also still waiting in the distance. Exalt 2-2. Holding down some quite priority compounds, if you will. More importantly, it just denies movement and rotations from other teams that want to work around them. Unity, back building. Tornado Energy, Blaze, everyone on the eastern side still yet to show their hand. TSM losing 2 players early. Fex and Jempty need to work their way down. 2-1-2 just holds, continues the spray. There's a second. Third one also finally comes in to say hello and is dead. 4th player on arrival. Bye-bye, boys. Destroyed.
Yeah, very swift retribution, but up in the north, it looks like TSM have been on the receiving end of a lot of pressure. Just Vex alive and a whole hunting squad for him. Not just one, actually, arguably 2. Blaze are getting interested in this one as well. They're at the foot of the hill. Laz is about to crest that. That could be some shots coming his way, and I don't think Vex is any the wiser to this. Trying to avoid one, merely to go into the trap of the other, but the timing could be in his favor. He could follow their footsteps.
He'll be behind all of them. Now, 2 of those players will have level 3 gear. I'm intrigued. I'd like to stay with Fex for now.
Pushed out of this compound. Hold on. Liquid just pushed out of this compound. They've gone up on the low side of this hill to get the fall towards YMCA. This is very smart play, but it's very brave. This is one of the things you don't expect to happen. They have just played a very strong game. They played a big game. They're taking the fight to the teams when they could have played perfectly safe in the compound. This is Liquid now playing to their caliber, not playing to the lobby at all. They're going to do it to whatever they want. This is risky, but they need to clean house here.
Something I want to touch on for the side of YMCA. We saw it in one of the videos earlier on where they were speaking to one of the players. This for them is a different function. This for them is their first time really at the top of the game playing against some of these teams. We kind of saw it in Sanok, for instance. They were down at the bottom. They could have pushed onto Exalt. They didn't. They opted to stay inside the safety net of their compounds.
Oh, no.
This kind of worries me if the Caliber can stand up to it. There's a third player there, thankfully. K-Mind stands
2
the
HP.
test.
2
And
HP.
He had to do it. Otherwise, that would have been Liquid gone. The aggression, we're going to say, do we see YMCA and these other teams that aren't up to that necessary caliber that you know of?
So
But
this, Rich, I have to ask, that's what I want the desk to break down, is what has that unlocked for Liquid? There is a benefit to them doing this and cleaning house, even at the cost of potentially losing players here. It's given them the entirety of the South to themselves, apart from one remaining player who is in the petrol station. Now, I don't know how much information they have, but theoretically, they've secured themselves a very big spot. And look where we're heading. Look at those shacks in the fields, Rich.
I mean, it's okay. And there's a lot of, if they get this final player, I mean, we've almost just seen Liquid 3 versus 1. So we do know that anything can happen on any given day whatsoever. This now for them is a very open area. The trees are quite sparse. They have a very small amount of this hillside to play from. So regardless of kind of what we say, it's still exposed. Any kind of sniper fire that comes from the middle, they're open fields. They have the shacks they can play off the back of. Yeah, I don't want to take away that they have the cover from the trees, but it's not the greatest in the world. Up at the north, they can play off the back of those ditches that do run parallel. All these lines that you see through the fields, they're just little dirt mounds that you can lay against.
Does he see him? He has now. Let's see when he decides to strike it. Oh, Mexi. No. What? Oh my. Oh no, Liquid could be in a real spot of bother here. How he held his nerve there when Mexi was literally staring at him, I will never know. But now it is the shooting gallery in the north. This is a nice idea to look back to once we see him making some progression towards it. But in the north, it's a slaughter, and there come the nades. Blaze are about to go boom. Lipson's in danger. Gotta be careful. Coin the heels. Welcome South George. Welcoming them to the big leagues. Tornado Energy diving in on this, and WS15 gonna feel the same sort of force coming their way. The north side, there's only really room for maybe 1 or 2 teams, and it looks like Welcome South George and Tornado Energy want to claim that.
Tornado Energy have to go. They have to get out of this predicament that they're in. Open ground and literally bushes to play with. Not even like side road dips. Ira's just jumped off the bike. He sees 2 players in front of him. He's just going ham. Hammer down. Xiong's here as well. Nade up and over. It's primed. It's clicked. Will it find a target? Look at all those nades. Oh! It's raining death. Tornado Energy are completely removed and deleted from the map. That is just the aggression out of WTSG. They saw them on the move, so to stop them getting ahead of the pack, they just pushed. Ira dives off the bike. Xiong's there as well, and they are just wiped. That is just a collateral mess for Tornado Energy, but a bloody good play, an aggressive one from WTSG.
Yeah, I really like that. Liquid are getting a lot of attention right now, and I'm sure it's a very tantalizing prospect for that remainder, that snake in the grass, to try and maybe get something out of it. But what worries me down the line, I don't think he's going to realize or even consider there's going to be 2 teams, 3 players remaining in this weird little area, and it's gone north. Now, welcome South George, very strong position, but as are Exalt, Diamond Dogs can maybe find a way forward. Liquid, though, have a very long way to go. They still have a vehicle or 2.
WTSG's position is still quite fragile.
Oh, it is. Like, none of these positions are really that great.
All they can really do is lay down and hide between bushes. I mean, if you look at what Adepts are working with, they have these kind of sideline ditches, what I was speaking about, but not full on because they're outside of the circle. Liquid now on the move. Smokes go up. It gives away the position. With a smoke like this, you also can't fake it. This is utility being used. And once it's used, you have to take full advantage of it because then there'll be nothing left. By the way, don't forget, we still have that 1 player from ETG, Teagit, just chilling in the distance, ready to strike on K-Mind and Ibiza when the time is correct. Unity also going for a long one in Inside Gaming. They're outside, they're behind Liquid. They have to be careful. A knock onto Noki is good because now this gives them some kind of a foothold and maybe even an advancement. K-Mind is...
This is good from K-Mind.
disconnected from the pack.
even if he gets knocked, at least it gives away the information. That's actually pretty big. And yeah, he is going to get knocked and go down, which is a problem down the line, but this will spur on Liquid. They have to now make that fall towards AD. It could mean they die, but now at least they know what they're up against. They have no other option. That's how this thing goes. Mexi's still standing, as is Ibby, but Ibby's in a car. He's going to make the mad dash. Mexi's being kept alive by a smoke, so it's really not great here for Liquid. It looks like they're down to the last couple of odds.
Maybe he'll just try and find something. Anything to play off. Mexi's pretty much dead, and honestly, Ibby could be too. Instantly, Phantom just shuts him down. Mexi's hiding smoke. Phantom and Furax 1-2. Might be a thank you in a second. Free kill. Citron both go down. Liquid falls. So does Inside Games. All these teams now, these individual final players just falling at the wayside. We're into his top 5. WTSG, the Diamond Dogs, and Exalt. All pretty good on the map for now. You're in a bit of a stalemate scenario, kind of like a game of chess. If one of them moves, they're going to move into the position and instantly just take one back. I mean, for me, it comes down to be honest with you, to Exalt. Taking that position, having that one player. I do still stand by that. I think Nailup could have just applied a tiny bit more pressure onto the Diamond Dogs. This would have kept Calvin and Tommel a bit more at bay. But still, he's got a foothold right for him to move from.
Yeah, this is why... I hate this ending on this map, if I'm honest. It's really hard for any team to really make a play from. You're basically playing edge game. Exalt are great. They're doing okay. They've got pretty much the best control that you can hope for. No matter where the circle goes, they're pretty safe. Unless they obviously make huge errors. Now it's on whichever team comes out of this with the most alive to maybe face off against them. That's pretty much it.
How does Monkey get that? If Monkey looks up, he's literally going to get killed by a drop. He is. I can see him now, just waiting at the side for it. But Monkey is literally being gifted a full-blown drop on his head. Give me a sniper. Who have we got? I think Tommel's got a 24. Let's take a look at somebody with a bolt action and see what we can get done. Because at this stage in a game with something like this, and it being a bit of a game of chess, so to speak, one single knock and one single headshot could be the go signal for individual players. Shiv's eyeballing that second one outside. Groza 15 times. Yeah, not many players like to use it just because of it sometimes gives too much. That's why they'll prefer to go for the 6 times even over the 8.
And yeah, here comes the waiting game. It's whoever makes the first move. Exalt aren't really going to be doing too much. Welcome South George have made the move, and they're going to get punished for it. Tommel does at least have a chance to maybe do some damage towards them. Welcome South George don't really have many options here. They're going to find any fight they can. And here's the knock-on effect of that. Adepts can at least get some vision towards Exalt, but as soon as they start fighting, they're going to die themselves. So they need to play this game very cautiously. Let's see who racks up the points. Who stays alive between basically the Diamond Dogs and Welcome South George here.
Lamp lock goes down to the blue. Well, they're not watching too much unless the call's been made to not give away too many points. I won't expect it to be at this point, but hey-ho, no points are given whatsoever. Shiv, nail up. Zeong, instant and knocked. Confirmed. Tommel now time to strike. He does, but there's an instant response. Nail up. And at the moment for Exalt, they're just playing clean-up duty. All these players being kept at bay. The wave of fire comes through. Vard holding on by a mere breath of fresh air. But he is a clutch master. We've seen him do some wonderful stuff at his time. However, I think that blue, and more importantly, Shiv is just going to be way too much for him.
Yeah, very close by. Vard is being kept alive by a bush and trying to crawl ahead of the blue here. So he knows his days might be a little numbered. And there they are, down in third. Respectable considering, and I think we can see where the crown may lay here, considering how that circle's just moved. And as said, it's credit to Exalt for holding well in these positions, keeping 4 alive, maintaining very strong positioning, and it looks like we might be seeing that confirmed any second now, that they will be closing out as the winner of match 4 here. The first look at Erangel in this tournament, at least today. So now we see the players starting to get a little aggressive. Nail up, moving up on this. It looks like they want to get a little close, make sure there's no room for any naughtiness, but Furax can find one. Shot comes back in. Not instant, but it looks like it's looking pretty likely. And here comes the blue, maybe hoping that that could be his downfall, but it's Monkey to swing in and claim it. And Exalt played the positions well, did not let any mistakes happen to them.
Good job a while ago, to be honest with you, to get that little shack. That give them the options to be able to move away from the cliffs and get into that one. Had they not have had that, potentially you could have seen the Diamond Dogs claim all of those shacks and basically lock them down to the cliff face. By just one player, just leaving one player out on his own to do his own thing. Gives your team options to move and more importantly options to win the game. That's what they do, they keep 4 alive. And it's a GG.
It is. They should be pleased with that. They got a lot of kills to support it as well. So hopefully they can start building themselves into a better position as well. Outside of that, though, it could have been an interesting one if it did go down to the military island. It didn't in the end. It actually stayed north. And I'm glad we saw so many teams just kind of working out and taking their time on that one. No one just sending it towards the island. So, again, it seems like the patient, reserved, thinking man's teams have come out well here. Let's head down to hear from the team who just picked up that W.
That's right, Exalt have got it, and they're continuing to discuss this game. They went all the way. Now, Naleb, I want to start with you, because I covered you a lot during Contenders, and you showed your skills throughout. You've been a top player overall. What's it feel like to be able to do the damage here and get a win now?
I mean, it's way better than in Contenders, because you know, like, what other teams are doing, and it's easier to play. And, I mean, we got, like, lucky this game, because there is a small chance to shift it north, and we played like slow and like step by step, and we managed to win as 4 alive.
And you're having some really consistent games as well, right? Fourth, third, and now the big win here. What's the feeling like for you guys, and what was going on at the end of that game in terms of just communication, trying to make sure Furex wasn't able to kind of snake around you guys and finish you off, because you just went and sent for him?
Yeah, because it's 4v1 and we know that we cannot throw that, and we just said, let's have some fun. That's it.
You guys certainly were having some fun across the board. Now, in terms of this event, right, looking at the other teams here, what edge do you think you guys have over the rest of them?
We're going to be first.
Ooh, we're going to be first. I'm going to leave it at that, because that's a statement and a half to make here at PGS Berlin. Let's see if they can do it again. They are being consistent throughout.
Very consistent indeed. Thank you very much, Banks, as they do pick up that win towards our first game for Erangel. We've got 2 more to come here, but talking with me now, Froz and Avenger, Exalt getting themselves that victory. And I think Pansy summed it up very, very well towards the end. Kind of the thinking man's game, kind of being able to understand how that circle is going to evolve and have that 2-2 split ready to be able to adapt to it. So that was very cool to see.
I'm going to let you take this one, because you have something to say about the whole thing.
Well, obviously, I talked to Yannick, their coach, and apparently Udyr, their IGL, before the game started, when he saw the plane path, he called exactly where it was going to end. He said it's going to be a 50-50 circle where it's going to end around Ferry Pier, which was kind of close to where it was. And they played that super well. They executed it very well. Took the double 6-stack of the yellows, and how they managed to play this, absolutely insane.
I mean, I think the whole thing was how they were holding people out. They sent Naylor super early to one of the shacks, the shack that he played with Monkey later on, but also so crucial when they sent Monkey over to play a 2-2 split, and how the other guys were able to actually play on the south side later on, and just covering them, making sure that if someone crashes them, they can take the first aggression from the shack, go back inside, and then the other guys can just cover from the south side as well.
Is that a decent rule to stick by when you've got a 2-2 split and fields are involved? Taking somewhere in the fields which is quite fortified compared to normal field positions, is that a decent rule to have with a 2-2?
Like for me, whenever playing fields, you need to be able to play a position where you know you can kind of, where you, towards the circle, you will have cover. You either play uphill, or you've already cleaned your back so you can play like only 180 degrees forward rather than having to worry about 360 around you.
The risky play with that was that they Naylor to the shack. Now Naylor, he can't shoot at everything that moves. So you're putting someone in a position where they can't get knocked, because if they get themselves knocked there, it's almost like lost already. You can't go for him. If you try to go out to that early, everyone's going to shoot at you. Everyone has the high ground looking towards that. Especially the team who knocked you